people. Like where are we now? We are YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, all the things. Let me open this chat so I can make sure I can see what's happening. All right, so we decided, Raquel and I decided we were going to come online and talk about this. So we went to brunch. Well, when did we go to brunch? Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday.
Sunday.
Sunday. Yes.
So we went to brunch on Sunday, and my setup is crazy, guys. So I have to like move things around just to see what's happening. And we were going on a tangent about brand guidelines and like what it's like to build events for companies and organizations that don't have brand guidelines. And we're like, this is it's just not real life. You're like, how are you making $2 million and you don't have brand guidelines? Like, what's happening here? There's a disconnect. So we were like, we should go live about this. And so here we are. We just decided to do this thing. And I mean, 8:30 was, no, sorry, 8 o'clock was the time, and I messed it up. So here we are. We figured you guys would be at home and online. So yeah, all the things. So Raquel, for the people on my side who don't know you,
Yes.
introduce yourself, say all the things.
Yes. All the things. So my name is Raquel. I run Saint Germain Creative. It's a full service experiential marketing agency. It's been a long day. A really long day.
The day has been daying.
It's just been going.
Yeah.
But I'm here. So I work with brands on the tangible side to create experiences that helps get their brand message across so people can really have an experience so that there is some brand loyalty built during these events. Yeah, so that's the gist of my shtick. I've worked with all types of brands, lots of media. Entertainment and media seems to be my niche. I love it. I get to meet some really amazing people. I've worked with Hulu, Stars, OWN, All Black, as of recently, the Vice President of the United States, because I got to
It's
that one in there.
fancy. It's fancy, and I love it. I love it. So, oh, and I guess I should probably tell your people who I am. So my name is Yanique DaCosta, and I own a graphic design firm that works with corporate event planners and trade show marketers to provide them with consistent, reliable outsourced graphic design. So my clients kind of look like the people who either they don't have an in-house team that can really be dedicated to serving them for events, especially like when it comes down to crunch time, or agencies that are working with corporations that don't have an in-house team at all. And so this is basically all Raquel and I do, like all day every day. So we're like, all right, let's talk about it. Raquel, look, I'm gonna let you start because I think you brought us into like the tunnel of like brand
Yeah.
guidelines, their level of importance. Like, why are brand guidelines important for an organization?
Well, your brand messaging is really important. It's how people identify you. Um, Colors, the tone, the font. The font is important.
The fact that font was like a trigger for you, the font.
Yes, yes, because I have like a love-hate relationship with Canva, right? Like it's really good for the digital aspect, but there are some things that an agency can do for you that Canva can't, right? I feel like Canva is more for the person that's on the budget. When you are going through an agency to create these graphics, it makes my job easier because if you send me something that you made in Canva, it's not going to translate in person if I have to run it through the printer. So I'm asking you for a specific type of vector file. Canva can't do that. You
Gotcha.
need a professional to do that. You need somebody that has knowledge in Adobe or whatever other types of systems are out there that can give me the type of vector file that I need, because it's not only going through a printer. We use CNC routing machines to cut acrylic, to cut wood, to cut all. It can only pick type of file. So if you make something in Canva and you send it to me and I put it through the machine and I have to keep going back and saying, this is not working, this is not working, this is not working. And it's not me. The machine is doing its job, but the pixels, it's like really pixelated. And that's why you need a professional to really hone in on those graphics so that everything can be seamless, because the last thing I would want you to do is show up to your event when you're looking at the collateral on the wall and it's pixelated. That's ghetto.
So I feel like there are a couple of things happening, right? There are the brand guidelines that help to identify the look and feel and like general aesthetic of the brand. And then there's like the actual creation and production of the graphics. That we're going down two different roads. So I want to rein in, but I want to go down both of them at the same time because I'm like, where do the breadcrumbs lead? So the first thing is the brand guidelines will help you to understand what assets you have, whether that's color palette, whether that's fonts, whether that's brand visual elements that you have to work with in order to build around what this possible theme, objective, this marketing target, the sales goal is meant to be for this event. And then you have the how to then take those brand guidelines and create collateral. I feel like when we were talking, I think we're describing like the businesses that don't have brand guidelines. They're like startups, but they're not startups that are necessarily in like their infancy. They're startups that are like, they're up and moving. So they're doing like $1 million in gross revenue per year. And they probably are functioning in this place where they're like, I don't need brand guidelines because that's going to stifle my creativity. And I'm kind of like, understanding like someone like you who actually works with the brand guidelines in terms of like creating your vision and looking at like the overall outlook of the event and how you can use the brand guidelines to even push the creativity forward. Like, let's talk about like how to stay creative and innovative while adhering to like strict brand guidelines. Like, share some examples of like successful events where creativity flourished within the brand guidelines and the event was even better because you kind of understood the direction of the brand and where you were actually able to go.
Right. Let me give you this example. When we have to go in sometimes and be creative on top of what we're given, the brand guidelines actually helps me render concepts because it gives me a clear idea of who the brand is, what they sound like, who they cater to. And it helps me to actually think in a way that the brand would think. For example, if we have to create like like the that I can think of, a hashtag. One brand probably has a tone that might sound like Michelle Obama or Oprah. I don't want to go in creating some hashtags or some sayings that sound like Cardi B. So those brand guidelines help me stay within the realms of how the brand should actually be presented outwardly.
Gotcha. It's funny. I'm going to share this on screen here because Ray chimed in and he was like, thought I'd share from my experience. You should have brand guidelines for vendors explaining basic expectations. Not all designers or creative services make assets the same. And so like, and he's talking about the ability to make sure that your brand has like a unified look and feel. And just like you were saying, like, right, you can't go and sound like Cardi B if the brand is meant to like sound like Michelle Obama. And no shade, right? Like it's all good on either side.
Right, exactly.
Sometimes you gotta do the Cardi B shake, and then sometimes you just gotta sit back and like cross your leg at the ankle.
Right.
Really about like what it's meant to do and who it's meant to speak to and who it's meant to connect with, and those brand guidelines kind of like help people to like understand that, right? Like, and I think sometimes people feel like they really just don't need it. It's like an afterthought until their brand gets to a point where like they can no longer control it, or like they have to be looking at people outside themselves, like vendors and partners, to actually get to a place of success, right? So like one of the things that we were even talking about was, okay, well, if you're a retail brand and you're like, okay, I'm trying to get into Target, how are you going to put together these visuals when you're doing your product launch to attract buyers that speak to you need to be in Target kind of crowd if you don't even know that that's the direction you need to actually go in?
Right. Exactly. But it also makes me think about not just the marketing standpoint, but the fiscal aspect of what you're doing, right? How much money are you actually leaving on the table by not having these things? Because if you're not relying on marketing, because people like to say sales and marketing are not the same. Marketing is like the overall thing, but your sales and your finances kind of help guide that guide so that you can get to where you're going. So if you don't have something as simple as a brand guideline, which you could just put together, like you know how you want your brand to sound, you know what you want your brand to look like, you know what colors you want, you know all of the things, you know the identity that you want it to have. Just put it together.
Oh, girl, don't stress me out. Stop that. Don't tell anybody that. Let's start over. I
Woo!
feel you, but I don't feel. Let me tell you. Let me tell you where I'm
Y'all
gonna go.
call Yanique, okay?
I'm gonna. No,
We'll
it's
get
not.
you that.
It's not even about calling me. Right? There is a you may know, like you may know your target audience. You may know your client base, right? And it's that subject matter expert knowledge that you need to then pair it up with the science of design, with the science of
Well,
marketing.
I am so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that.
You know, it's like understanding like what certain colors mean, what
Right,
emotions certain colors evoke, like what people associate certain shapes with, like
right.
what kind of action does this lend people to take. And so, yes, you have to start with the basic of you being a subject matter expert, but don't you dare put together a brand line with all pink because
Well, I'm saying you know what you want essentially, right?
yeah,
But then it
yeah.
is your job to go to somebody that's professional, which takes me back to the font, right?
Listen, something okay, we need to talk about why you're so triggered
I
about
don't know why I'm so
talk about it.
sensitive about fonts, and
Something happened. Something
I
happened, and
don't
you're gonna
really
tell the story.
maybe I need to go and see and go to
No,
therapy and talk about this. I
listen,
really don't know why fonts bother me so much when I see them, which pretty much tells me that you pretty much did it on your own without seeking professional help. You went through Canva.
professional help. You said it like those people are sick, but you need professional help.
You
What?
need professional. No, you need professional. Nobody is an island. We all need each other. We all need. There is something that I can't do. Event graphics.
Mhm.
You can do that. I'm not gonna try to stress myself trying to figure it out if you're the expert in it.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
all need each other. We all are in this and we all have different sectors for. So the next time I get something with a terrible font, I'm sending it to you.
I'm dead. Please, please do.
I'm
I'm here
sending
for
it
you. So here's the other thing too, like the brand guidelines also help to make like the process a lot more efficient.
to you.
Like
Yes.
when you're hiring, whether we're talking about hiring like an event marketer, an event planner, a um, gosh, forgot the word. If you're hiring someone to make like giveaways or tchotchkes, whatever the case may be,
Right. Yeah.
like having brand guidelines makes the process a lot more efficient, makes communication a lot easier, like, and then you're able to really manage those expectations, and that in itself is saving you money. Like no one has time to be sitting on phone with you for 2 hours giving feedback. I don't know about you, but I surely do not. Like that's not an efficient way as a
Right.
business owner to spend your time. And so this one-time investment of building really great brand guidelines will make a completely big difference. And I think sometimes, even as I'm saying this, like, I don't think we even defined like what exactly are brand guidelines, right? So
Right.
the brand guidelines are the place where you go for all the things. Like, what are all the things? Like, what are the fonts that you want to use? I started with font because, girl, you got that stuck in my head.
The
Like,
fonts.
right? So, like,
I need a hat. Make the fonts better. Make fonts great again.
oh, I'm dead. Listen, if it's a pink hat, you might get tackled because of the font you choose to use on it. People might, it depends on, I don't know, it depends on where in the country you are. And although I'll circle back to a really good story about that in a second. And then you have how is your logo, how are you allowed to use your logo, right? And then the different kinds of photography
Yes.
associated
Yes.
with your brand,
Yes.
the tone, the sound of like the verbiage that you're gonna have associated with your brand, the kinds of design examples that might be built with your brand. So
Right.
it's not really just about like what does my logo look like? Because there's there's logo usage guides, which is one thing. And then a brand guideline is a very holistic feel about what your brand is going to look, feel, sound like on a myriad of platforms. So like you might even have references. So if you're really big on social media, you might have examples of what your social media needs to look like, right? So like when you go ahead and you hire a social media manager, they have a place of reference of like the tone, the graphics, what everything's supposed to. So you have unified voice, not just online, but in person at the event, on the website, in the product room when they're designing packages to go out. Like everything looks and feels. So you have like brand continuity, and that's the kind of efficiency that brand guidelines kind of help.
And the social media thing, I'm glad you said that, because people don't understand there's a difference between, right? Because you could be a solopreneur, right? You could be doing everything. But you don't want to sound like yourself when you are posting on your business page or your product page. And that's why those brand guidelines exist. So that if you have to pass it on, they know exactly what to say and how to say it. They know how it's essentially personified. So you have an idea of what this person, if you had to make this guide into a person, you can make it look a certain way. That's why the brand guidelines are important, because not only does it's just for event marketing, but it just translates over everything, especially if you're doing like big adverts. It really matters. It really
even that, like, right, like building in like who's your target audience, that's something really important. So like include into your brand, like who are these brand guidelines meant to appeal to, right? And I think something that like is like probably really this, and I'm a rewind a little bit, Racquel, because I know we talked we didn't talk so nice about Canva. I'm not anti-Canva, right? I'm not anti-Canva.
No, but, I'm not anti-Canva.
Right? But Canva is not for everything. So let's say you are a solopreneur, right? And you do hire someone to do your brand guidelines, but there are some things that like you're still going to be doing it. Maybe you are still managing the social media, right? The person who developed these brand guidelines could also create, social media templates that you can use on Canva and kind of like swap stuff out. So they can build like a brand package for you for like digital assets. Maybe not so much for print assets. So that's another story for a different day, but like to kind of help, maybe you want to promote the event online. So you have all of those digital assets while you might outsource the need for like the larger oversized print graphics or like the pull-up banners or like the table tents and that kind of thing. But like there are ways to utilize outside resources to be financially efficient,
right?
Instead of just going, I'm gonna do it all by myself. Because I don't know about you, like building a business by yourself is rough. Like been there, done that, ain't doing it ever again. Like your back is heavy. That backpack walking around like your Dora with all the things, like it's not.
And you're gonna miss something. You're essentially gonna miss something because you started the business to work on the actual product, not all of the back end. So sometimes you do have to do certain things yourself, but at some point delegate. That's it.
At some point you have to realize that a team is required in order for you to get to the next step. And I think, well, not that I think, I know when there's still a lot of things that I do on my own, right? Like I'm very much hands-on in like sales and marketing.
Right. Which is understandable.
Maybe just as much as I am in like the actual like creation of projects and things. But at the end of the day, I recognize that I'm not doing my bookkeeping. I'm not filing my taxes. There's just
what I'm good at.
Like there's just some things your girl is just not about to be doing.
You know what I'm good at,
right?
And I know that, and I'm not gonna mess it up trying to do it on my own because I've been there. I don't like it.
No, it's
how much money could have been saved.
And then it's not even. It's just the burnout. Like we start these businesses to sustain ourselves, not to sustain the bit. Like we did not create the businesses to then sustain the businesses by burning ourselves out. I mean, like I'm actually a pretty decent project manager, I might think, but like that doesn't mean that that's how I should be spending my time. Like that's not what I would say my queen bee task is within my business. It's not doing the project management. And so I have project managers who are efficient and like great at their job, and when they're not, then we replace them and then move on. Like it's just what it is. But sitting here like sticking and going, I'm gonna save $10 by doing this myself, like go on ahead and save your $10 when you could have made 150. That
Pretty much. I'm not. So I don't know if you follow Morgan DeBond. She is the founder of Blavity, and she used to do this cohort, and she would talk about being Tyrone. Tyrone is the accountant. He is the bookkeeper. He's the media manager. He is the cook. He is everything.
Mhm.
That leads to burnout. That leads to you just feeling like, why am I even doing this? Questioning your existence.
Yeah.
So you really want to focus more on the growth of the business. Like once you get to a certain point, focus on the growth of the business so that it can be sustainable. So you want to focus more on the CEO task. And you can't do that if you just don't want to extra little, whatever to delegate it. You can't do everything. You don't know what you don't know. I don't know what I don't know. And I don't want to figure it out. So I'm just going to take somebody else to do it.
I listen, I'm there with you. All right. Do you have any little quick gems you want to share before we hop off? Because I feel like we told the people all the things.
Quick gems. Take action. That's all I got to say. Get off your butt. It's day 17. Get up and just do it, because no one's going to do it for you.
You know what?
You got to get up and you just got to go.
You know what? Here's another thing too. This is completely an aside, but I feel like we might high key be like type A personalities where we're kind of just like go, 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 go. If you are not accustomed to like being on at all times, like it's okay to like give yourself a break and to forgive yourself, because like it will take time to like get to it will take time to like get you to a place where like you're accustomed to functioning at that level at all times.
Right. If you're just starting, you don't have no room for that. Like you gotta get up, you gotta go, you gotta get it, and that's it. So I think about it, and I was just thinking like this today. I was like, if I got sick today and they said that I don't have that long, what would I do? How would I move? Who would I reach out to? And so every day I'm just taking chances every day, because what is the worst that can happen?
I mean, honestly, I've actually been functioning that way for a hot minute.
What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, I've since I lost a couple people in my life, I'm just like I'm just doing it how I want to do it, and everybody can just kick rocks.
That pretty much because her life, and you got to live the way that you want to live it. It honestly, this year is like I was texting a client before this, and I was telling her, because she's starting to get into events. She's actually an influencer, and she's doing like community-based events.
Oh, I remember you were telling me about her.
Yeah, she's so great. And I told her, because she wants to host another event, and she has a city behind her to do it. I was like, just do it. All gas, no brakes. Just go.
Yeah.
Just go.
I mean, fear will always be a part of life, but like you have to just decide to just do it or not. And I mean, not is not a good thing. Like
if you don't do it,
reason, like
you're gonna see somebody. You're gonna be scrolling on LinkedIn, and you're gonna see somebody pop up with the idea that you had that you never took action on.
I won't tell you how many times that's happened to me. It's actually quite
frustrating. You just gotta do it. Like Nike got it right. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
All right, guys. I think that is where we end for today. But Racquel, thanks for coming out here and chatting with me. This is my first live of 2024. So I love this for us. Right. So yeah, thank you so much. And,
yes, thanks for having me.
This is on the flip side. That's my pleasure. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh, you know what I forgot to do? Oh my gosh, guys. Something I didn't do, which is Racquel. Hold on, let me. I don't even know what tab I'm on anymore. I need to tell you guys. if you like talking, or if you like not talking, oh my gosh, there it is. If you like listening
Oh,
to
there it is.
and people chat, go ahead and check out Eventus 365. That is my podcast. We're now getting ready to let out season 3. Season 3 is coming up in February, and it's where we talk about corporate events and corporate events all day, every day. So I think there are like 53 episodes right now. So you got a whole lot to catch up on before we let out season 3 in February. So check it out. I can't believe I forgot to tell people about it. That's raggedy. Anyway,
Yes, check it
check,
out.
check it
Shameless.
out. And I will see you guys on the flip side.
Bye.
Bye. Listen, I also forgot how to end the lives because I haven't done them in so long. Where is the end button? There it is.